Alright, today we're playing as the Huns. I'm Dr. Loving. I don't speak Chinese, so I do not know who I'm playing against. But I'm playing against the Mayans. Of the Native American civs, I consider the Mayans the best. And I consider the Aztecs, with enough skill, as sweaty and as annoying as they are, to be the most premier, if you know what you're doing with them. And I consider the Incas just horrible. Fun to play against, because generally speaking, it's free elo. Like anything, you can win with any good civ, or just any civ in general. That's one way of doing business. And that to say, I'll be doing bad business with a rhino later. So, the Mayans. One moment, please. Probably the most minimal tech chart you could possibly see. They cannot convert a stable. So, I don't even think they can make their Shalata Warrior, which is like the Native American version of a knight. Same everything, it's just reskin, but you can't get armor upgrades even if you had Redemption. But anyways. So, their archers get progressively cheaper as the game goes on, akin to the Huns, but the Huns is strictly cavalry archers now. With that said, I think they have, I consider them the best for extremely skilled people with the Aztecs, because their Eagle Warriors can get up to 100 HP. So in my opinion, if you were to use Eagles, you should wait until Imp fully upgraded to maximize that potential, as well as force the opponent into skirms and counter archer, and then you can punish them with a mass ball of skirms, or sorry, of eagles, right? But I think the eagle in Castle Age is completely worthless. You can counter it with longswords, you can counter it with straight knight, and if they want to do pike with eagle warriors, it slows down their army, and then you just have mobility, right? So this is him, not me, with the housing crisis at the moment. But yes, so their eco bonus is, like, they start with 1 extra villager, but then, so they start house, so they have to build house and get loom, which is still useful, right? And then they also, their resources last 15% longer, and that's a very underrated aspect. There's nothing special to it other than, like, the preservation of your stuff, right? So I think the berries lasting the longest is probably the best part of it. But all that to say, like, you don't collect it faster, it's just there, right? So I think it's got inherent usage. And that's what happens when you have 8. I meant to fire only once. Or I could have just used this group, and that would have been perfect. Anyways, it's hard to talk smack when I did a horrible job on that. So anyways, so I'm pushing in the ostriches, and sorry, it happened again. Anyways, so let's just get through this. So anyways, that's pretty much the Mayans as a whole. I spoke about the Eagles, and that's worth mentioning. The Huns. The Huns, I really like them. Extremely, I would say kind of difficult in the modern meta, where it the infantry push is real, it's not infantry that frightens me. It's not the trash army that frightens me. It's siege, because I have the worst siege outside of siege ram in the game. Now that to say, speed, mobility, and aggression is this entire civ, and those are my tenets for success, and I like them. I love how simple this is. It's just like, be aggressive, 20% faster working stables, and pump out cav archers. I am cheap. There's our first kill. I am cheap, so I like to build the huge death ball of cav archers in the Imperial Age. I like to just get like 15, 20 castle, which is still a lot. Just to harass villagers and to cover my knights in castle. I pivot away from knights into Imperial unless if I'm able to have 40 plus on gold, like late castle, mid imp, kind of a well, late castle, early mid imp. If I'm able to get 40 on gold, and I say 40 because dual gold comp is extremely difficult with this civ, even with the cav archer discount. So you pay 45 gold when you get to Imperial, and then you know your knights are still full price. So it's possible, it's just extremely difficult. So this was a meeting engagement. I did not even pay attention, but you know, we get some value out of it, and I know exactly what he's gonna do, and that's totally fine, right? No, the eagle warrior or the spearman for the Mayan doesn't speak Hunnic. Let's see what he says. Yeah, so it's just what HUD you click on is the language that is spoken whenever you highlight units. So anyways, little meeting engagement. I thought it'd be cool to go on this side, and I guess these were all his production facilities were, so that was convenient for me to know. But I think eagles have value in feudal and mid-late Imperial, 100%. Castle, I think they're completely not useful. And they're like, oh, but they have cavalry damage bonus. But anyways, we're jumping ahead of ourselves. So let's see how this feudal age goes. I'm just holding my army over here for a little bit, and I just want to defend for a smidge. So he sees I have skirms, and I've started doing this more often, and I'm thankful for doing so. So it's nice. Again, I'm cheap. I don't get Town Watch until after I click up, because generally speaking, I feel like feudal units won't end the game for me if I'm somewhat mindful of what I'm doing. Ooh, that would have been nice, but that's okay. So we're gonna just cause a little bit of distraction over here, and seeing this coming over to me, I know I can get some good value kills. I do not care for the spearman hitting me. So, in the meanwhile, yeah, like, I don't care, it's fine, we're just killing the archers, it's good. So, I don't know what I was thinking per se, but, you know, it caused a distraction, we're getting some value. And I realize, okay, because I'm doing this, so let's see, how many hits do we take before we leave? Wow, such a fast reaction time. Not! So anyways, alright, so I realized, you know what? I ended his forward aggression, so I'm now just gonna charge in, right? I say that with like a wonderfully comprised feudal compilation. I meant to put that HUD up earlier. So, yes, the kill-death ratio is oh so in my favor. I'm glad that they went to auto-defend. Usually they don't, so that's kind of cool. It's in their nature to be aggressive, good old Hunnic Empire. But, that to say, I had way too much wood, but it was a lot of fuel microing. I don't know why he went for the skirms, but don't care. So that's kind of the theme of this game is he's got not good military micro. But we'll see how this rolls, right? So all I need is just to zone out these spearmen, so just kind of set them up and then go for the villager kill. I invested in bloodlines, so I went really hard into this. And that's fine by me, because we're keeping him at home, and then we're just gonna apply some pressure, right? So, I had such a late feudal age, but as the Huns, that's kind of typical, to be honest, for me. They usually go extremely heavy into applying pressure and so on, right? So I don't see his base, but I do know I can't stay here for too long. Because even though I don't respect the Eagles, I do respect crossbowmen. And I feel like that's going to happen. So we're going to head home. I don't care, because I know I can't get anything done. I did my job. I got a villager kill. The KD ratio is really in my favor. So we're set, right? So at this point, I'm 20% in. Something I could have been doing better was make just a couple more stables. I start building archery ranges, which is good, because I do want to pivot to cav archers, just to have some, right? And then obviously harass villagers, raids, and then just have knights to defend, and absolutely lay waste if he does skirms. And the unique thing, generally speaking, in Castle Age, I've seen the pros do it a lot, but if you get enough of a knight number, they are better than pikemen. But then if you have paladins versus halberdiers, paladins just melt to halberdiers. So it's kind of like a weird proxy of different power spikes, and it makes sense, right? But the drop-off. Now, the paladin has extreme value. It forces reactions, you can relatively choose engagements, it's great heavy cavalry. But in Castle Age, with enough production and enough choosing, you can have extremely favorable fights. So, the Mayan is going to do a really good job of just massing a single unit. Now, I thought he was going to stay in archers, so I thought, you know what, let's just upgrade our stuff. Let's see how many upgrades we're in. 1. So, okay. Yeah, against archer civs, I go pure attack. Now, at this point, I'm realizing, you know what, just get value. That's all that matters out of this. Just get the value. I think they just made it to warrior. Yeah, because I think before that they were. So I realize this is a lost cause. I don't care to save these units, because in my mind, I'm like, he's only going to do equals. That was the logic. Whether that was true or not, I don't know, but that's what I was thinking, right? So, again, just get value, just delay him. I should have realized, I should make 2 more stables. But, no, I was just kind of, just dealing with this. Kind of trying to boom, knowing that this group isn't going to do much, right? So I'm feeling confident, but I'm seeing the reinforcements go in, so I'm going to just... He's not paying attention, so I'm just going to get an eagle here and there and just delay his army, right? Because I kind of don't care, but I want to get some more units on the field. Eventually. Would be very nice. So yeah, he's just not paying attention right now, obviously on the other side, but... So let's see how this goes, right? So I'm getting the town centers, let's create a baby shell of defense, and then we will start producing. It's just getting there, right? Do I manage to save this? Thinking is probably without husbandry? Yeah, it's infantry, they're just not going to catch up. So, bye Birdie boys, we'll see each other again. Yep, sad. That's okay. We'll get back in this, right, in terms of just production and anti-idle time. So anyways, I'm just gonna have him be damage absorbo. He does get one villager kill? Yeah. So again, I know he's just gonna be pumping the eagles out, getting the upgrades in, so I just know, you know what? I do need DPS, damage per shot, right? And just kind of slowly accumulate more and more damage. To his credit, even though he got one single villager kill out of it, it caused a lot of idle time and vast inefficiencies. So at this point, it's like, okay, can we get our stuff together? But anyways, so let's see what he's up to, right? So again, just get some values or value out of it, right? So he destroys my outpost. Okay. I know what he's trying to do. I don't get houses as the Huns because I didn't mention this, but I start at max pop. So yeah, not super worried about it. I knew I didn't need siege because even though my siege isn't that great, I still get castle age siege, which is fine. I finally realized, let's get villager production, military. So I'm gonna do this right, and then we're gonna take this engagement. 7 knights and a couple cavalries are more than enough to deal with the Birdie boys. So I'm gonna purposely leave out a couple villagers, but I don't even. He's got like one more. Oh no, nice. Yep, that's why you have them. You don't want to just chase. You do want to punish, and they're too slow. Again, in Castle Age, pretty worthless, but you know that's just me being a bit judgy.
Shot it.
So he's gonna send in Ranger Ram here. That's fine. You know. Not the greatest food production that I would like, but the gold is coming in, so we're good. This one I just found kind of funny because I knew enough of my opponent to realize it really doesn't matter. Like, okay, I'll gladly halt my wood to take out a ram for free. So I know I need to eventually defend the front. He's obsessed with trying to punch me in, and that's fine, you know. It's his right to try and stop me on that, and so I'm like, okay, I may not be scared of the Birdie boys, but I'm doing a horrible job of production, relatively speaking. The military production is there, and I'm tired of this, and I've got the cav archer numbers I like enough. So we're finally getting Bodkin. Yeah, I've got one upgrade for cavalry. He's fully teched in, so good for him. So yep, this is the meeting engagement. I knew it's castle time, and he figures he wants to do a castle of some kind, right? So I just know, let's get it up. Shift click, so I tell him to go far left, and then into the base as best as we can. And I've got the knight numbers that I need. Now, again, the bigger priority is this. He's got no range units to stop me from building, so I'm not that worried about it. Not great micro, he pivots them away. He could have just gone after my eco, but for whatever reason, this is what he wanted to do, right? So, let's just go ahead and go in. And I don't care about the villager, my own villagers. I don't care about anything. I'm just gonna go get his, right? He was fixated on random things, and I did not care. So in the meanwhile, yes, this is happening. So, I'm just getting the villager kills, and I'm gonna just get some more. I made it into his base, and he had no answer, right? So, I did say thanks GG because, you know, sweaties.
Bilim baan.
And this is maybe 7 eagles, maybe.
Armamento.
And sure, he'll show up, right? But this is cleared. There's nothing stopping these. And we're pretty set. I think if he wanted a forward castle, all he had to do is just put it here, have it there, right? And then, you know, you can castle walk it from his point of view, or you can just, like, assuming you're going close to imp, right? Then, relatively good, you're set. That to say, I was pretty close to imp, and at that point, like at this given point in the game, that's what I was going to go for. I've started to change my strategy some, where I somewhat try to be mindful of going to imp. Now, it was a lot of engagements, it was a lot of fighting, so I wasn't as diligent with my eco as I could have been, right? So, now what's funny about this game, I have no idea how he has a score lead. Yeah, okay, more villagers. I'm sure there's a little more eco production, like for sure. But got the army numbers, I've got the KD numbers, and you know. Again, this game doesn't really value control. I don't know. I've got a castle if he does it, but hey, you know, it's just a number, right? But it's an indicator of some sorts. Yeah, his primary gold is still going, and I didn't pivot to this many villagers until so later. So, anyways, yeah, really good game, good back and forth. Don't know why he made a siege workshop at home, but I'm not going to complain. But he did 2 TCs. I got up to a third. To his credit, he was able to cause a lot of idle time and so on. So, yeah. But it's near nigh impossible for the Mayan to apply eagle pressure. I think you can obviously do it, but it's 20, 25 food and 55 gold for these units, and it pretty much takes 3 to take on 1. And in a group setting, yeah, I just don't see it happening. They get, I think, a +3 attack versus cavalry, but that's, again, I've had my opinions on this. I've said enough about the Birdie boys, but I think they're a good Imperial aged unit. I think they're not good for anything other than feudal and mid-late imp. So, let's go and look at the stats. Yeah, we both destroyed a building apiece. So, cool. Army count's similar, but I already mentioned my opinions of it. And so, yes. Okay. So I whittled his villager numbers down 10 during that entire exchange of the castle going up and the cav archers going in. But I'm Dr. Loving. I played somebody. That was Amaya. And until next time, peace.